My name is Brent Pack, and today I'm going to show you what I do to catch fish trolling crankbaits. Now, lots of people are bass fishermen or crappie fishermen. Me, I just want to go out and have a good time, and at the end of the day have a mess of fish to take home for supper. And before I get into my setup, I just want to say that all you need to catch fish trolling with a crankbait is an old John boat and a trolling motor. You can catch a lot of fish this way. Now, over the years, I've perfected it and added equipment and stuff to make it a lot more efficient. Most of the time I'm fishing by myself, so probably my most important piece of equipment is my trolling motor. I've got a Minn Kota Tarova remote control trolling motor that allows me to sit back here in the boat and control it with my controller. Now, the good thing about this is when I catch a fish, the boat continues to go on course, and so I can just reel the fish in at my leisure. I don't have to hurry. The trouble with other trolling motors, if you're by yourself, when you get your foot off that trolling motor, your boat will turn around, your lines get all tangled up. With the remote control trolling motor, you don't have that issue because it'll just keep on fishing for you. When you get the fish in, you throw the pole out and you're still going. Now I live right on Greers Ferry Lake in Arkansas, and so that's where I do most of my fishing. Now, for a lot of people, it's a tough lake to fish because you've got a lot of deep water, and the water in the summertime is really clear. So you can spend a lot of time fishing and never get a bite. What I do with trolling these crankbaits, I am covering a lot of water, a lot of shoreline, and only casting at the best possible places in the shoreline. So that lets me expose my lures to a lot more fish than if you're setting up and just fishing a point for a little while and then going to another spot and fishing for a while. So you're showing your lures to a lot of fish, and that's why it's very rare for me to go home after fishing 3 or 4 hours and not have a mess of fish. Now, I catch a mixed, you never know what you're going to catch with using these crankbaits. I catch crappie, I catch bass, walleye, white bass, hybrids, brim, even catfish every once in a while. Now, I found that I catch more fish when I'm running 1.6 to 1.8 miles an hour, and you can see that right here on your remote control for the trolling motor. One little thing that I've learned is that if you're going into the wind and the water's lapping up against the boat like it is right now, you're not going to catch near as many fish as you will if you're turned around going with the wind. It saves your battery going with the wind, and that lapping against the boat will scare some of the fish. I've got 4 rod holders on my boat. I've got 2 that point out to the sides and 2 that's on the corners and go straight back. That leaves me with a line about every 5 to 6 feet across through here, so I get a pretty good swath across the water. You want your poles where they're parallel to the water. That does a couple of things. It keeps the lure deeper in the water, but it also keeps it out of your way while you're fishing. So, brim. Catch a lot of these. After you troll for a while, you're going to find that some strips of shoreline are a lot better than others, but don't just go by what they look like on the surface, because some of the best places that I've got don't look very good on top, and so they get overlooked by a lot of the fishermen. If I catch 3 or 4 fish along a short distance of shoreline, usually I'll spin around and come and make a couple more passes through there. I've actually filled limits of crappie with just running about a 1/4 mile of shoreline, just turning around, going back and forth through it. I do all of my recording with the iPhone 6. I use a total recall cap mount. I'm going to try to get some video of maybe catching a fish or 2 on top water in a little while. That's why I've got this on my head. The phone right now is on a stationary mount in front of my boat. you can find out more about recording your hunts or fishing trips or whatever on my website, brettsoutdoors.com. I use a Humminbird fish finder. It's got the side view on it. Now, there's not showing any fish right now, but a fish right under your boat will show as like an orange fish, and one on out to the side will show as a blue fish. Now, if they're out to the side and I'm seeing several fish, I can look over here. This is to the right of my boat, this is to the left of my boat. And I can see where that fish is and kind of give me an idea of where I need to be trolling. Now, anytime I catch a fish, I always look and see how deep it is. And this shows right here shows the depth of the water. Okay, we got a fish coming along now. This fish is right underneath the boat at 22 feet. Well, that's not going to do me much good because they need to be 10 feet or less in order to use the 2-inch crankbaits made by Cotton Cordell. They come in 3 flavors: the shad, the fire tiger, and the crawdad. Some days they'll hit one better than the other, so I usually start with 2 shad and a crawdad and a fire tiger, and then kind of go from there. The shad's usually my go-to lure. Any lure that's similar would probably work. These things run about 5 to 6 foot deep. Ah, I bet you a walleye. Dang, good fish. Maybe a hybrid, but if it's a walleye, it's gonna be a dandy. What do we got here? Are you kidding me? A flathead. Look at this. A flathead on a crankbait. There we go. Yeah, you're gonna be a little small, I think. Maybe not. About a 1/2 inch short. 14 and a half. There we go. Oh, nice one. Come on, stay out of there. Come on. I'm gonna use my net on him. I think he'll make 15 pretty easy. 16 and a half. Looks we got more. Another brim. Actually, a little sun perch. Fish of some kind. That's a big old brand. I think I'll fillet him out. There we go. Nice crappie. Trolling a crankbait. Gonna have to do a little digging and get the hook out of him. Last night, so the fishing was really tough today, but it was nice to be out on the water, and I've got a mess of fish for supper. Hopefully you see how this trolling works and you'll give it a shot.